Hello and welcome to my channel, Radical Joyfulness, and learning how to have radical joy in your everyday life. I am Joy Schultz and I am your human design mentor and life coach. So, real quick, who am I and why am I here? We are going to talk all about human design, self-leadership, self-acceptance, energy, woo, trusting the universe, interdependence, healing trauma. Like, this is going to be where you learn to really trust yourself, really love yourself, and how to lead yourself in creating the life of your dreams through learning to love yourself through human design and deconditioning all of those beliefs, but also learning how to be interdependent with those around you so that you're playing to your strengths and learning and growing and having fun. And so are they. So let's dive in. What's my background? Why am I passionate about talking about this stuff? So I was born in the Midwest, Oklahoma part of the United States. It's called the Bible Belt because there's a church on most every corner. And I grew up in a cult as such. And I didn't recognize it as a cult until many years later, as I was like deconditioning some of those beliefs and coming out of it. But basically, the way I was taught and programmed was to disappear in my life. I was taught to be the peacemaker in my family. I was told that my name meant Jesus, others, then yourself. Like these were the things that were hardwired into me. And I fully saw it modeled in my own life, in my mom's life, in everyone around me. I thought it was just the woman's job to serve, take care of the children, and take care of the man in the house and keep everybody happy. So I tried that along with some independent thinking because I grew up as a single mom. My mom was a single mom. We grew up in academia. So we were taught to be independent critical thinkers. So that doesn't work real well when you're in a cult and you're not really allowed to ask questions. You're just supposed to have faith. So fast forward, here I was 11 years ago ish. I was like 26. I'd been married for 4 years. I had tried the get married, go to school, get a really good job, and my life had fallen apart. I was an absolute shell of a person. I couldn't make decisions on my own. I wasn't making enough money to support myself. I was an emotional wreck. My life was a wreck. Everything just absolutely fell apart. And so I got to the point where I was just like, I give myself 4 years because that's how long I was married. If I can fuck up my life in 4 years, I can fix it in 4 years, right? Because I was logical and I was taught to lead with logic and critical thinking and just, I can just do it. And then I started down this journey and I realized just how much trauma I've had in my life. I've had every type of trauma happen to me. And over the last few years, I've realized that it wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. But that's a whole nother discussion. Um, so I start to put my life back together. I start to realize that there is more to life than just serving everyone else. And I began to realize that maybe I'm worthy of more. Maybe life isn't just about serving. But still, I was constantly looking outside myself for validation. Am I okay? Am I okay? Am I acceptable? And so I was a chameleon to everyone around me. I remember taking the personality tests and being like, well, around this person, I'm this way, and around this person, I'm that way. And in this situation, I'm a totally other version. And constantly looking around, trying to find myself. I'd been buried so far under societal and religious expectations. I didn't know where to begin. I just knew that my life sucked. And so I started with the personality tests first because I figured that was an easy way to get to know myself. But then that just ended up bringing on more questions that I didn't have the tools to figure out. I didn't have the support, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm going to fuck it. But I never give up. Once something is in my head, I don't give up. So I kept going. And I finally found my first life coach. I had read the book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein. Pivotal book, pivotal moment in my life. And through that book and working through those exercises, I opened up enough that I was able to find my first life coach. And in the space of a handful of weeks, 12, I think was the first go round. And we turned around so many traumatic beliefs. I went from someone who couldn't look myself in the mirror to being someone who could look myself in the mirror and at least come up with 2 or 3 things that I liked about myself. Like, this was a huge shift in a very short amount of time. And I was like, oh, we be on to something here. I need to like figure this shit out. And at the same time, I was like, if she can help me do this, and I've had tell me your life story written all over my forehead my entire life, I can do this too. And it lit a fire in me. And I was like, I want to help women heal from all their trauma. I want to help support them in learning how to think about things from a different perspective so that if the way they've always been thinking doesn't align with them, they can change it. Because without awareness, we can't change. And I wanted to help women learn how to just be you without all the other second guessing, without having to try on all these masks of, is this me? Is this me? Am I an introvert or am I an extrovert? Am I a feeler or a judger? My religion taught me to be a judger, but that's not who I really am deep down, I've learned. So that's a little bit about my story. And then once I found human design, it changed my life. And I say that about a lot of things, but human design has been like finding the language for what I've been trying to do. And it allows me to have the tools and the resources to marry the logical and the intuitive. So when I work with my clients, we take the human design chart and we get to know them a little bit. And we take a look at then also what's going on in their life. And we put it back together and we're like, well, this is why, based on the things that you've been through in your chart. So of course it makes sense that you'd be going through this, and this is intuitively how we're going to handle it. And these are the tools at your disposal. And then with support, they have a transformation and we just keep going. And it's amazing. That's the power of human design. But anyway, let me back up a little bit. I have been studying human design now for several months, and I know that doesn't sound like long, But when I dive into something, I really dive into something. And I've been a student of humans since the time I was in the womb, I'm pretty sure. I've always been a watcher. And as a human design projector, I absorb everything. I see so much. And that is why, as a projector, I'm here to guide. So, on this channel, we're going to be talking about human design, self leadership, beliefs, energetic management, like all types of things, and how to really step into being the leader in your life. So, what is this human design thing? We've all heard about the personality tests, the Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, there's a billion BuzzFeed quizzes. There's even the Harry Potter sorting hat. Like, we all want to know ourselves more, but we don't know how. So we create these tools that speak to a part of ourselves. So, like with the Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, it talks about how we handle expectations, internal and external expectations. The Myers-Briggs, or the 16 personalities, is based off of 4 binaries. The Enneagram is based off of 9 types, which is based off of your core belief, which was formed by the time you were 7. And most people don't ever go back and look at their core beliefs. Then you have the basics of astrology. And okay, you may have a little bit of information, but without a lot of study, you're not going to be able to fully grasp the power of the tool, right? But at least it's not based on how you grew up, right? The binaries, for example, that the Myers-Briggs deals with are literally like inward or outward focus. How am I an introvert or am I an extrovert? How do I take in information? Do I use my intuition, my internal intuition, or do I use my senses? Do I make decisions by thinking about it or by feeling? I would say that nobody thinks about their decisions, but that's another story, that we're not meant to make decisions with our head. But anyway, and then do we judge and live our outer life that way, or do we perceive and live our life that way? But the thing is, even in the psychological community, everyone knows that there's more to life than just these 4 areas, that there's 4 binaries that determine how we, as a unique individual, are going to go through our life, how we're going to make decisions, how we are meant to show up in the life, how we're meant to have our energy work for us so that we're not just working against it. And we are all unique. So how can you separate us out into 16 little pieces of the pie and say you all fit into one of these? It makes no sense. And so that brings me to human design. Human design is based on it's based on ancient and modern science. So what do I mean by this? The ancient observational sciences that it's based on are astrology, the I Ching, and the chakra system. The modern ones are quantum mechanics, astronomy, and biochemistry. Now, how can a system bridge all of these systems together into one? I'm not real sure, but a guy in 1985 downloaded it basically from the universe, and he dedicated the rest of his life until he died, I believe in 2011. And he documented it, he worked with the system, he trained others, and then as we've continued to advance in quantum mechanics, astronomy, biochemistry. The human design system has actually been proven time and time and time again. So what it does is it looks at your astrological chart based on the time you were born in the place. It then, based on all these systems combined, takes a look at how that affects your DNA. And it prints out this really intricate chart that literally addresses every part of you. It talks about who you really are, not just who your parents or society or religion told you that you should be. It gives you insight into how you make decisions. Like there's 64 gates in this energetic system that correspond to the 64 keys in our DNA. Okay. It also looks at how you make decisions. For me, I ride an emotional wave. I cannot make good decisions based on my internal authority, my own internal GPS in the moment. I have to ride my emotional wave and feel the high, feel the low, and then come back to like this mid-level worth of like clarity and emotionality and be like, this is what I want to do. Whereas a generator buddy over here who has their sacral center being their authority, their knowing is in the now. They make decisions and boom, they've got it. We're all different. We're all one of one. And that is what makes human design so freaking powerful. We were basically programmed by the time we were 7 years old. We didn't pick the language that we speak natively as our first language. We didn't pick our religion that we were indoctrinated with when we grew up, if we had one. There were so many things that we didn't get to pick. And human design is a system that allows us to have an easy starting point to take a look at, what do I really believe? How do I really want to show up in this world? How do I want to build my dream life? And it gives you tools for figuring that out. It says, hey, this is how you were designed. And this is a tool for helping you to show up in the way that you were designed. Try it. Experiment with it. Think about things differently. Stop making yourself wrong because you think differently than the person next to you. And it gives you this like cosmic blueprint, this user manual for just being you that everybody says that we need to be, right? Except I've never had a class outside of my human design study that taught me how to just be me. It's mind-blowing. I absolutely love it. So now, what is this conditioning? Like, and is it always bad? No, conditioning is not always bad. We move through life learning how and what things are acceptable. You can't move through life without some level of conditioning. Where the conditioning or the programming goes wrong is when it goes against your internal GPS, when it goes against who you truly are at your core. Because if you don't ever get the choice to look at and examine your beliefs, then you're going to keep trying the same things over and over and over again, trying to get different results, but still going about it in the same way. And Einstein has a famous quote that basically says, you can't do that. You can't do that. So, what is next? Okay. Human design is not a personality quiz. There's no thing that you have to go fill out 150 questions. You literally go to mybodygraph.com. You put in your date and time and place for where you were born, and it spits out this really complex chart. So it doesn't worry about the conditioning that you've received. It doesn't tell you that this is the reason why you won't ever change. It doesn't say that, oh, well, you're this way, so the dream that you have isn't going to work. Human design is only expansive, not contractive. So if you are hearing anything that says, you know, like you go on and you Google, oh, I'm a manifesting generator, and then there's people telling you, oh, well, you can't be a coach because your aura does XYZ, and you're going to push people away. Run and come back and let's talk. But anyway, so what's next? I want you, if you are interested at all in this, I invite you to hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because the very next video, we are going to really dive into the basics of human design, like the very top level types and your auras and how they work together. But for right now, I want to know, have you been like looking to all the personality types and just getting frustrated with them? And does this like give you hope that maybe there's something out there that is going to help you get to the heart of the matter? That instead of putting band-aids, like maybe there's hope. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to read a deep dive into what human design is, and you want to dig a little bit deeper, then go check out my blog post. The link is going to be in the description. Until next time, have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.